hype from these few people, right?
There we go.
Great.
Oh, come on. Yeah, we're going to make this count.
These are the most dedicated folks in this whole conference.
Yes.
I'm excited to be here. A couple things that I want to tackle today is how to strike the right balance between feeling human and automation when it comes to conversational AI, and also how to stay competitive in the landscape. So, Amr, I'll start with you. I know the genesis of Vectara was in trying to solve for hallucinations when it comes to large language models. So please explain how Vectara approaches that and what problems you're trying to solve with the company.
Thank you, Nora. I mean, one of the key problems, if not the most important thing to get a handle on before deploying any AI system in production is the hallucination issue. So first, just for the audience, for us actually, to calibrate properly across all of you, how many of you heard about hallucination before? If you can please raise your hand. So I'm saying almost everybody raised their hand except for 3 people looking at their phones. That's okay. And I want to stress, of course, we mean hallucination in the context of LLMs, not the smells you smell out here in Vegas. The term hallucination is the incorrect term. Actually, it's not the right term that we should be describing this with. As you know, the father of modern AI, Geoffrey Hinton, who got the Nobel Prize a few weeks ago, he prefers using the term confabulation. And what is confabulation? Confabulation is when we are providing a response, and that happens to us humans as well. We're providing a response, and we genuinely think it's the right answer, but it's not. Right? So let's say I and Nora, we met a year ago or 2 years ago, and we talked about movies, and we talked about the movie The Matrix back then. But then I meet her today and say, oh, remember when we talked about Inception? It's like, yeah, I love Inception, and we just go as if that was exactly what happened, and it didn't. And the problem is with large language models, due to the fact that we compress them so much, they compress information severely, that's why they're so impressive, by the way, they have that issue of confabulation, where they sometimes will fill in the blanks with things they think are factual, but they're not. And that's where hallucination takes place. So how do you solve that? You solve that in the same way you solve it for humans. So how do we solve hallucination for humans? If you have an exam tomorrow, remember back in high school, and you have a chemistry exam tomorrow morning, what do you do the day before the exam? You study, or cram, depending on your style at high school. And what is that? That is about refreshing your memory, grounding your memory in the facts, so that when you actually go to the exam the next day, you do much better, as opposed to just relying on your memory. And that's what retrieval augmented generation is all about. So that's the input into being able to reduce hallucination, is let's make sure we get the facts relevant to the task at hand, whether that be an AI agent task or an AI assistant document generation process. Get the facts and give the facts with the task in the prompt, so that the model now remembers everything perfectly. And that severely reduces the hallucination rates to about 0.8%, down from like 20% if you don't do that technique. But that still leaves the 0.8%. And if you're in any regulated industry like finance, like legal, medical, government, you just can't have that 0.8%. It's extremely dangerous. So you do, again, what humans do. If you're working at any very respectable law firm or media organization, let's pick on media organizations. Before you launch a new news article into production, and you're the best, even if you're the best reporter at that organization, what do? They do something called fact-checking. And what is fact-checking? Fact-checking is having a second pair of eyes, not the reporter, because the reporter cannot check themselves. They will believe their hallucinations to be true. That's the problem. You need to have somebody else who is not the reporter that checks what they wrote and make sure it did not go outside of the facts. And that's exactly our claim to fame as Vectara, is not only do we have the retrieval augmented generation of grounding, we have a real-time model separate from the model that's producing the response, that's double-checking its answers and making sure that they are correct and flagging out which parts are incorrect and actually correcting them as well. And that almost eliminates hallucination completely.